Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday pushed back fiercely against what he described as international pressure over the war in Gaza. At a cabinet meeting, he said, "To our friends in the international community, I say, is your memory so short? So quickly you forgot about October 7th, the worst massacre committed against Jews since the Holocaust?" And he repeated his determination to send forces into Rafah, the city on the border with Egypt, overrun by civilian refugees who fled their shattered homes elsewhere in the Gaza Strip. He said, "No international pressure will stop us from achieving all the goals of the war, eliminating Hamas, freeing all of our hostages, and ensuring that Gaza will no longer pose a threat to Israel. In order to do that, we will operate in Rafah too." Earlier on Sunday, Netanyahu also hit back at a speech made last week by the U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The Democrat and long-standing supporter of Israel stunned observers when he directly criticized Netanyahu.
The fourth major obstacle to peace is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And called for new elections in Israel. Speaking on CNN, Netanyahu said Schumer's comments were, quote, "totally inappropriate." But Netanyahu is facing pressure from inside Israel as well.
Election now to change the Prime Minister and the whole ministers.
Thousands of Israelis in Tel Aviv called for an election now during a protest against the government on Saturday night. Hamas fighters killed 1,200 people in the October attack, according to Israeli tallies, triggering a massive assault on Gaza. The Gaza Health Ministry says Israel's air and ground campaign in the enclave has killed more than 31,600 people. Most of its 2.3 million residents have been driven from their homes, and aid agencies say the population is on the brink of famine. Israel's allies have piled pressure on Netanyahu not to attack Rafah, where more than 1 million displaced people from other parts of the devastated enclave have sought shelter.
We cannot stand by and watch Palestinians risk starvation. That's not us.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz met with Netanyahu in Jerusalem on Sunday and said he supported Israel's right to defend itself, but that along with the military objectives, there were humanitarian needs as well.
Take the ground offensive in Rafah. The military logic is one consideration, but there is a humanitarian logic as well. How should more than 1.5 million people be protected? Where should they go?
Scholz said he pressed Netanyahu about the need to provide comprehensive humanitarian aid to the people in Gaza.
The IDF is conducting a high-precision operation in limited areas of Shifa hospital, following concrete intelligence that demanded immediate action. We know that senior Hamas terrorists have regrouped inside the Shifa hospital and are using it to command attacks against Israel. Our targeted mission isn't just an operational necessity, it's a global imperative. Our forces have undergone specified training to prepare them for the sensitive environment and complex scenarios they may encounter. Our war is against Hamas, not against the people of Gaza. We seek no harm to the civilians that Hamas is hiding behind, which is why we will conduct this operation with caution and care, while ensuring that the hospital continues its important functions. For this reason, we have Arabic speakers on the ground so that we can communicate to the patients in the hospital in their own language, and IDF doctors to assist those in need. We will also be conducting a humanitarian effort to provide food, water, and other supplies to the patients and civilians in the hospital compound. There is no obligation for the patients and the medical staff to evacuate the hospital, but there is and will be a passageway for other civilians to exit the hospital. We call upon all Hamas terrorists hiding in hospital, surrender immediately. Medical facilities should never be exploited for terror. Hamas must be held accountable.